Hi, second grade scientists. My name is Mrs. Knight, and today's lesson is from Unit 2, Landforms, Day 159. Our focus question will be, how can we preserve the stone monument? Let's take a look at the stone monument we will be discussing in this lesson, Mount Rushmore. As we've learned, Mount Rushmore is in the Black Hills of South Dakota in the United States of America. Today's lesson will focus on how can we preserve the stone monument, Mount Rushmore. Today's lesson objective is to explore the importance of preserving the stone monument. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to explain what the word preserve means, explore Mount Rushmore in order to analyze the rock that it is carved into, discuss the importance of preserving the stone monument, and compare ways in which workers try to prevent the rock from breaking apart. In yesterday's lesson, we learned that weathering and erosion by water played a role in forming the unique shapes that you see for the Grand Canyon in the United States of America and Wave Rock of Perth. Like a bar of soap, when rock is exposed to nature's elements of sun, wind, rain, and snow, it breaks down and may crack. Looking at Mount Rushmore, even though the stone monument is outside and stone can be very hard, weather, like wind and water, can still damage it. That's why it is important to maintain or preserve the stone. Let's learn more about Mount Rushmore by taking this video virtual field trip.
Today, we will be exploring Mount Rushmore. This national memorial is one of America's most popular tourist attractions, welcoming 2 million or more visitors each year. Mount Rushmore is located in South Dakota's Black Hills National Forest. On the southeastern face of Mount Rushmore is a gigantic sculpture depicting the faces of 4 of our early presidents. From left to right, the presidents carved into the face of Mount Rushmore are George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, Theodore Roosevelt, and Abraham Lincoln. A sculptor named Gutzon Borglum led the work in erecting the sculpture beginning in 1927 and ending in 1941. Throughout those 14 years, approximately 400 workers worked in dangerous conditions, removing a total of 450,000 tons of rock in order to carve out the heads of the 4 presidents. These heads each reach a height of 60 feet tall. An interesting fact about the process of creating this memorial is that 90% of the removal of the rock was done using dynamite. In fact, dynamite was used until only 3 to 6 inches of rock was left to carve. So why are these 4 presidents chosen to be forever carved into Mount Rushmore? Washington represents the founding of our country. Jefferson represents growth. Roosevelt represents development. And Lincoln represents the preservation of the United States of America. This national memorial symbolizes freedom, liberty, and the power to dream. Mount Rushmore is known as the Shrine of Democracy. It has become one of the most iconic images of America and is an international tourist attraction.
Let's continue to read about Logan's experience at Mount Rushmore. Read along as I read aloud from your student reader, pages 8 to 11. Chapter 2, Protecting Stone from Changes. Logan asks the park guide about the people he saw climbing the sculpture. The guide explains that workers are protecting the monument from the weather. This seems strange to Logan. This whole place is outside. The monument is stone that has been outdoors forever. Why would such a thing need protection from the weather? And how would people protect a giant stone carving? Logan learns that the people who work to preserve the monument check the stone for cracks. Let's remember that the word preserve means to keep the stone in its original condition. The faces at Mount Rushmore are carved into a kind of rock called granite. Water can seep into cracks in the rock. During cold weather, the water freezes into ice. As ice becomes solid, it expands or gets a little bigger. Ice inside cracks in rock pushes the granite apart little by little. The cracks can get bigger. Over time, small cracks could cause large chunks of rock to break off and fall. This happens to carved stones and to natural rock too. So look at these images. Water gets into the crack. The ice gets bigger and pushes the crack wider, so when the water freezes, it turns into ice. Then the rock can break. Then the stone sculpture wouldn't look the way it's supposed to look. Let's go back into what we just read and explain how stone cracks. Then add why it's important to preserve this stone. What do you think? Answer the question in this blue box. And remember, you can always voice type your speaker notes. To do that, you need to be in edit mode. Click Tools, Voice Type Speaker Notes. Click the microphone, begin speaking. When you're done, click the microphone again. Triple click your answer. Hit Command X or Control X on your keyboard to cut, and then click inside the blue box. Hit Command V or Control V to paste your answer into the blue box. You can pause this video to do that now. To preserve Mount Rushmore, workers fill cracks so water cannot get into them. This protects the sculpture. They fill the cracks with a material called silicone. Silicone is like a thick glue. It is hard and rubbery when it dries. Silicone is waterproof. It keeps water out of the cracks. During his trip, Logan reads more about how stone can be damaged. He learns that stone monuments can also be changed by wind. The Great Sphinx is another giant rock carving. It is a very old monument in Egypt. There is little rain and no ice to break the rock apart there, but it is hot, windy, and sandy. Wind blows tiny grains of sand against the monument. It grinds away at the stone. Over many years, the stone has worn away. Workers try to protect the Sphinx from changes caused by wind. The Sphinx is much older than Mount Rushmore. Wind has been blowing sand against it for a very long time. How do workers preserve Mount Rushmore from weathering and erosion? If you would like more information, you can click this link and you will be brought to the National Park Service website all about preservation of Mount Rushmore. A worker applies silicone caulking to a crack on Mount Rushmore. Remember, you can choose to voice type your speaker notes. Now you're ready to move on to explore and summarize. Thank you for being such great listeners. I'll see you next time. Bye.